And now for something completely different.
Forget everything you've been told by others before. Get ready for the real deal, the full story. Real talk about money, markets, life. Now, it's The Real Investment Show, presented by RIA Advisors.
And welcome to Financial Fitness Friday. I'm Rich Rosso here with Mr. McCarty, Jonathan McCarty.
Morning, Rich.
We are on now on baby watch, aren't we? How long?
Countdown has begun. 2 months. 2 months of counting.
That's going to go very fast.
I feel like I've blinked and it's already here.
Your days of sleeping will be over. Although some babies do sleep. Not my kid. My God. You could tell she did not want to be here.
Yeah.
I said she must have been some victim. Who knows what she was in a past life. But this child did not want to be here. If she could have said it, she would have. Speaking of not wanting to be here, talk about futures. Dow futures down 103, S&P 16.75. You know, as we go through this, as Scott Besson calls reprivatization of markets. So Lance used to produce, I haven't seen it in a while, but he should update it to remind everyone. MAGA McCarty. Larry Smith just came up with a name for you.
Thanks, Larry.
I called him MADA McCarty. Make America dads again.
That's right.
Just for you.
I'm helping out with that, guys.
Yeah, thanks. He had produced a chart because I know there's all this talk. So I don't know if Jonathan, you saw the report from Accenture. How many outside advisors we use in the government as a patchwork to fix problems. So instead of fixing anything, we'll just hire people. Mm-hmm. And Accenture is going to dive because the number of contracts that are going to be cut. So they were down about 7%. So there are a lot of these service companies that have definitely been part of the whole government morass and collecting dollars for, obviously for work they are producing. But now, as for example, the IRS, I did not know this, they have 8,000 employees. And the computer system probably hasn't been updated, they said, since the early 90s.
Oh, MS-DOS. Very nice. The green screen.
Floppy disk, yeah. And what they're trying to figure out is they probably need about 500 and upgrade the systems.
Right.
Which makes more sense, right? So
Yeah.
and that means I don't need all these government contracts. So running the government more efficiently, the Accenture CEO, Julie Spellman, said on the call, there's going to be a lot of procurement that's going to be gone. But Lance did put out a great piece, especially when we had all this government stimulus. I haven't seen it in a while, but show you for every dollar we spend, and this is sort of what Scott Besson said, is, do you really think you're getting growth from government stimulus? For every dollar that you're putting into stimulus, you might be getting 20 cents.
I think that's generous.
In other words, your return on investment
Yeah.
is absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
Right? What I did like about what they said about the IRS, and I don't like anything they usually say, is upgrading systems, right? Or efficiencies.
Right.
So I think where people sometimes have a problem with how DOGE is working is it seems like you are going in there with a wrecking ball, as opposed to maybe how you would possibly do it in a company where you would say, okay, we have to upgrade systems. We're going to bring in, increase productivity. We don't need this number of people, right? In other words, there's like a thought process. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if there's a thought process in this. If there is, they need to communicate that. And I think once that's communicated, but my here when it ties back into the money is this transition, and I've said it before, is just not going to be clean.
No, it's not.
Right? So pulling checks away, as we've seen from one party, makes you very unhappy.
Yep.
And checks and money does get into the system. And the market only cares about it's in the system. Now, the EU has said, listen, we are going to wait on tariffs. So maybe there's some time of negotiation, right? We know that. I think they're going to wait till April 15th. So the closer we get to looking at it, maybe, let's hope, more negotiations. And then again, I always talk about this in perspective. Markets are down about 3.8%, I think the S&P, right? Something like that. But look inside. Look inside the sectors. Look at healthcare year to date. Look at financials year to date. Look at consumer staples year to date. In other words, if you are just in the Magnificent Seven, you've fallen off the horse.
Big time.
But if you are properly diversified, you're not feeling it as much. What do you think?
No, I would agree. And I think that for our clients, that's really shown to be true at the beginning of this year. And having that ability to balance between asset classes and have effective diversification.
Styles, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Effectively diversifying your exposures can limit that downside push that you get in specific sectors like tech right now that's getting just pummeled.
And we went into last year we were underweight tech. And part of it was because regardless of who the president was and policies, it was just overdone.
Yeah. Yeah, big time.
I mean, outside of everything else, this made sense that some of the sectors that underperformed last year would outperform this year.
Yeah.
Now, maybe not in the manner of how it's happened and the velocity of the move. But the fact is, regardless of policy, you were in I call it the Thanksgiving oven syndrome, right? It was super hot, right? And we try to do this before the masses get there.
Right.
So even though it doesn't look popular, like I think with NVIDIA, pretty much everybody's playing with house money at this point, right? We have pulled all our money out of it.
Yeah.
Right. So, and again, now we're looking at how do we buy into some of these names that have gotten absolutely annihilated, right? So last year you could have been adult and you did well. What I like about the market this year at the same point in time was I didn't like the fact that all you had to do is be in these 7 stocks. And if you had a diversified and you were looking at other good holdings, you weren't really performing, right? People are like, oh my gosh, I'm underperforming. Yeah, because we don't have all your money in tech.
Right.
That's just not how we operate.
Position limits are incredibly important. And, as much as it worked against us last year, it's working for us this year to a big way.
Yeah. Ed Gein's with us this morning.
Morning, Ed.
He's ready to slash the tax code. So that's what he said. There's a show coming out about Mr. Gein. I can't remember the actor who's playing it, but he's a really good actor. Really? About showing how, I can't remember, but it's coming out on Netflix. So So Ed, we'll discuss this over chat. See if they portrayed you well in this new program. So he's really into slashing government waste. Ed, so you know. So I think again, outside of any political, ire you have, it's really been good management from a portfolio perspective to move into things and rebalance.
Yeah.
Now, there will be a point, depending upon where we go, because we are in sort of a situation where we don't know. When those sectors start to falter, well, then it could get more serious, right?
Headed for the exits.
So stay cool, man. Chill. As our old mayor used to say, chill out, criminals. Come back later. Well, actually, we're going to be back in the next segment, aren't we?
In a few minutes.
I might not, but Jonathan will be here. We'll be right back. Ed Gein, not Gein. Gein. That's right. Thank you, PNLU. PenU.
Get daily investment news you can use, delivered at the speed of the internet at realinvestmentadvice.com.
The Social Security Fairness Act dropped elements that reduced Social Security payments, retroactive to last year.
What are you going to do with all that extra income?
Our next Candid Coffee offers savvy Social Security planning if you were dinged by windfall and pension offsets.
Saturday, March 29th.
Richard Rosso and Danny Ratliff answer your questions about Social Security benefits and what the removal of WEP and GPO means for your retirement. Candid Coffee with Ratliff and Rosso. Register today at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Attention Chevron employees and anyone else receiving or considering a company severance package. We know the process can be intimidating. What should you know to maximize your payout? Lump sum or pension annuity, retirement plan rollover or not? What about tax timing your severance? The fiduciary advisors at RIA Advisors can help you make the best decisions for your situation. Call us today at 855-742-7526. That's 855-742-PLAN. Or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
The Real Investment Show.
RIA Advisors Research is the envy of the industry. Our economic insights are featured on advisorperspectives.com, Fox Business, and MarketWatch. RIA provides advisors with marketing and back office support, objective research, and holistic, cutting-edge financial planning tools to meet your clients' needs. Want to join a winning team and be part of a fiduciary culture where you can do your best work? Then why haven't you contacted us yet? Go to our confidential advisor hub at realinvestmentadvice.com. RIA Advisors. Big enough where it matters, agile enough when it counts.
And now, another page from the Real Investment Advisors Investing Manifesto. Manage risk and volatility rather than trying to manage gains. You don't have to be right all the time. Long-term investing success is a 70% gain. Let us help you reach your financial goals with RIA Advisors. Neither bull nor bear. RIA Advisors. 281-501-1791 or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
You're listening to The Real Investment Show.
And we're back. It's Ed Gein. Not Gein. Gein. Let's just, So, obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the Social Security Administration, right? And then we're going to get to financial advice we love to hate. And I would say this. I think most people hate most financial advice.
Yeah, especially if it's coming from somebody you know.
Oh, my gosh. Don't give anybody you know financial advice because they'll hate you for it and get the same advice elsewhere and go, oh my gosh, you should just hear what I heard. This was I just told you that yesterday.
Best advice ever.
Except when it comes from you.
Yep.
So we always encourage everybody to go to ssa.gov, sign up. It's not that difficult, believe it or not. Check your statement. So they have new anti-fraud measures So anybody applying for benefits or changing their direct deposit information will need to do it through that Social Security account. Okay? Or they're going to have to go to a field office. Now, we know field offices don't take walk-ins, but we also know to wait on. I had a client that waited on. I told him, you're going to call Social Security Administration, you better bring a chair and just hang out, watch a show an hour and 15 minutes later.
Woo.
Right? But again, if you mistrust the internet and you have to do this, you are going to have a real problem, especially with the way they're cutting some of these offices that might not be around.
Well, we might see some unexpected benefits from that. You know, my father recently had to go down to the SSA office.
Oh, he did?
Here. Yeah, they live a little north of Houston here. And he said he's actually never had such a pleasant experience in any government office. Yeah, so I think maybe, people are on their P's and Q's now because Elon Musk is coming through with a chainsaw.
So if you do get the appointment, sir, would you like a Coke or coffee?
He said even the security guard, he said, I couldn't believe this. The first time I've been in there, even the security guard was polite, opened the door, was making conversation.
You know how I'll know if that's true? I've got to go to the post office this week.
There we go. Good luck.
When they literally almost spit at you when you're up there. So listen, if you have a problem with the internet and verifying your identity, you are in for a world of heck. Okay? You got to get over it. And you've got to sign up of having the Social Security account. It's got the encryption. Listen, you've been breached so many times already. It's funny how many people get all upset that Elon Musk is looking at their Social Security numbers. I said, wait a minute, let's talk about this. The IRS has been breached.
Right.
Not Experian, but one of the most major credit card companies, and everybody's been breached. But this is what you're worried about.
Not only that, if you have any type of antivirus or LifeLock, you're getting notifications all the time that your information is being sold on the black market, and it'll even tell you what of your information is out there.
They have a picture of me up in the black web.
Yeah.
When the IRS gets breached, and what was the credit monitoring service, not Experian, but was one of the big three, but like Equifax that got breached. Mm-hmm. Massive breach.
Yeah.
Like, in other words, like when they say, did you own this car, Brent Clanton, in 1970? And they give you all the choices. Like, they know his choices.
The Carmen Ghia.
Yeah. Pinto. Orange Pinto. Fire orange. Black interior. Bucket seats. So you've got to get into that system, and you got to open the account, check it, look at your retirement estimator, check your earnings records. I mean, overall, it looks pretty accurate, but for the most part, if you're going to say, I don't trust the internet, and I'm going to go, you're in for a world of hurt.
Yeah.
Especially now. So don't do it. So just my thought, because again, there's a lot more anti-fraud measures coming into play, and they're saying, listen, you have to open the account. It's just the way it is. So you want to go through the torturous process of not, or you want to go to where your father-in-law
you want to roll the dice and go see how the security's feeling today? Go check out the SSA office.
Yeah, I'm not buying no VW bug, Java Joe. Sorry. Unless it's from what? What year, Brent? Best VW bug year? 69? 61. Then I'm okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I will tell you, I have people that will try to log into their SSA government account, and they can't get in. Like, it clocks. Mm-hmm. And like, it's gone. It's gone.
All my money is
Elon
gone.
took my Social Security check. I'm like, listen, let's calm down. When was the last time you updated your antivirus software? I don't. What? What's that?
Yeah. Let me call and ask my grandson.
Yeah. You've got to make sure everything is updated before you get in. It'll only allow you in so far. But the most responses that I get, especially from my older clients that I know haven't updated anything,
right,
is Elon has totally taken all my money because I can only go so far and I can't get in. So the only obvious thing is Elon is now collecting my Social Security check.
That's clearly the answer. Yes.
So I think it's sort of fun.
One of his whiz kids, they rerouted the payment structure as soon as he got into the Treasury Department.
Snappy, young and AI kids went in there and stole my $1,380 $18 check. How dare you? So it's not that. Update your systems, people. Have your children do it. Grandchildren will happy to help you with it. Don't click on foreign links and just get it done. Okay?
That's right.
So we are going to be having a Savvy Social Security Planning Candid Coffee Saturday, next Saturday, 8 to 9 a.m. So this is really about WEP and GPO, right? This is understanding if you had worked in the private sector and in the public sector, you've got a pension, and then you also might be entitled to Social Security benefits. We want to go through that, help you understand what it means. Some people are going to be getting checks retroactive to 2024. It's going to be a nice chunk of change. And according to the Social Security Administration, they are getting those checks out faster than I really anticipated.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to what you're saying. They're trying to be expedient because they don't want to be on the cut list. So everybody's on their best behavior.
I think so.
Except at the post office, we'll see. And if I get somebody weird, I'm going to say, listen, I'm going to send my friend Ed Gein in here to mail a package. Yeah, well, go ahead. You ever heard of going postal? He's got no chance. He's got no chance. So this is, people still have pensions, believe it or not. Not many. So I think it's informative, but we're getting questions on everything. Like, why is the sky blue? And it's okay. We'll answer every question that you have. So just so you know, we are very happy to go through that with you. Sign up at Real Investment Advice. We do it through something called StreamYard, which is very easy to use. It's very interactive. And boy, we got a lot of people signed up so far. I think it's in excess over 115 or 16 people with a lot of actually very good questions, and some about Social Security, a lot about spousal benefit.
Yeah.
And maximizing benefits, which I love to hear, right?
Yes.
Because we do see the most common mistake of people taking it early.
Right.
And listen, if you're alone like Larry Smith living in a basement, you can take Social Security early. Nobody cares. But, if you have a younger spouse who hasn't paid in as much, you've got to look at that.
Yeah.
What's his name? Belichick. When he gets married to his 23-year-old girlfriend, right? And they have kids. If he had come into our office, we're going to say, Mr. Belichick, we don't really care about you and your Social Security benefit. It's really survivor benefit and family benefit, right?
That's
we
right.
don't really care.
Yeah.
And actually, I have people that I work with that are in their mid-60s, and they are married to women who are in their mid-30s, and they do have children.
Young children.
And they're young children,
Yes.
and they understand why I am doing this as I am, right?
Larry's killing me.
Larry, mom's basement, the only place my wife can't find me. It's not that she can't find you, she doesn't want to, Larry. There's a difference. So keep this in mind that the way you look at Social Security. Now, again, I have everybody is really freaking out because not only is Elon going to steal your Social Security, but he also wants your spousal benefit and your firstborn and maybe your car and your house. So, it's really, we are trying to be like the voice of reason to help you understand. Presidents come and go, policies come and go. No one's taking away Social Security. Otherwise, they'll all be around living on Lance's lawn, and he doesn't want that, believe me. So we have to keep a level head as advisors. I'll tell you, it's funny. Every administration, as advisors, you got to be like outside, have an outside your body experience and look at it very differently. You can't look at it from, I don't like this candidate, I don't like this president. You got to look at the numbers and the policies and make it happen.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's how you should manage your money. Your money should be apolitical, nothing to do with it.
Correct.
Speaking of apolitical, I don't know how apolitical this is, but there is some financial advice that will make you cringe. But we want to talk about it. So there are 10 baby boomer financial habits that Gen Z should embrace. And I think a lot of Gen Zs get a bad rap, but I do think that they're pretty or fairly decent, at least a faction of them is at saving. But imagine you're now, Jonathan, going to be a new parent, and you're going to, because these are sort of timeless tips, you're going to provide this financial advice to your child who the eye rolls are going to be so big.
I'm waiting for it.
I do this for a living, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dad.
Try telling that to my parents who still don't take my advice.
My dad never
How many
did.
letters after my name? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I'm still
right?
little John.
It doesn't matter. You're this kid who pooped in his diaper with he's got all these. Yeah, I'm going to take advice from him. That's really,
about how it goes.
Is that interesting, huh? We'll be right back. We're going to talk about this.
The Real Investment Advice blog. It's required reading for the informed investor. Catch it today at realinvestmentadvice.com.
The Social Security Fairness Act dropped elements that reduced Social Security payments retroactive to last year.
What are you going to do with all that extra income?
Our next Candid Coffee offers savvy Social Security planning if you were dinged by windfall and pension offsets.
Saturday, March 29th.
Richard Rosso and Danny Ratliff answer your questions about Social Security benefits and what the removal of WEP and GPO means for your retirement. Candid Coffee with Ratliff and Rosso. Register today at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Attention Chevron employees and anyone else receiving or considering a company severance package. We know the process can be intimidating. What should you know to maximize your payout? Lump sum or pension annuity, retirement plan rollover or not? What about tax timing your severance? The fiduciary advisors at RIA Advisors can help you make the best decisions for your situation. Call us today at 855-742-7526. That's 855-742-PLAN. Or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
The Real Investment Show.
Are you a financial advisor sneaking peeks at our stuff? Instead of trying to do it all yourself, why not just join the team at RIA Advisors? Our full-service organization can provide you with the support, unparalleled research, and tools for managing your clients' money and honoring the fiduciary pledge of putting clients' best interests first. Don't take our word for it. Talk to the advisors that work with us. Want to come win with us? Go to our confidential advisor hub at realinvestmentadvice.com. RIA Advisors, big enough where it matters, agile enough when it counts.
Can't catch the whole show now? Listen to our podcast later at realinvestmentadvice.com.
I'm sure when you were growing up, your parents said, don't get in a car with a stranger, especially white vans with no windows on them. Don't get into those if they're offering candy.
The Real Investment Show podcast.
And then now we've evolved to this point. It's like we can order a stranger with a car to come pick us up off of our phone. Uber just announced that they are opening up a wait list for Waymo rides in Austin. This is the driverless taxis, which is cool.
At realinvestmentadvice.com.
So now I'm not going to get into a car with a stranger. I'm just going to get into a car with no driver and watch a Roomba go around Austin trying to navigate busy streets.
And now, another page from the Real Investment Advisors Investing Manifesto. Bulls win in bull markets. Bears win in bear markets. Eagles soar above and take advantage of opportunity. Let us help you soar as you reach your financial goals with RIA Advisors. Neither bull nor bear. RIA Advisors, 281-501-1791 or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
If you're working and looking to retire soon, a Medicare special enrollment period is in your future. Understanding Medicare choices, enrollment deadlines, and costs are essential to your overall standard of living in retirement. The wrong choices can cost you thousands in penalties. Make sense of Medicare's alphabet soup with RIA Advisors' online resources and one-on-one partners to help secure the healthcare insurance choice that is right for your lifestyle and budget and avoid gaps in coverage. Click on the insurance tab at realinvestmentadvice.com today. realinvestmentadvice.com.
The Real Investment Show YouTube channel has all our videos ready for your easy access. Subscribe and bookmark our YouTube channel at realinvestmentadvice.com.
You're listening to The Real Investment Show.
Lance's commercial talks about going in the van, and I was 7 or 8 years old, and it was sort of at the end of the hippie thing, and there was still a lot of teenagers driving around in vans, and they'd always bring me into their van. I'd be like, yes! And they go, look at him, he's so cute, dressed in a suit. My mother would have me dressed in a suit every day. Look, he looks like a little Fred Mertz. And they would treat me like a little Cupid doll and take me everywhere. It was the time of two tops and fun.
Simpler times.
Now today, forget it. It's all over. So financial advice that's timeless. I don't think a lot of people like to be told financial advice. I think I don't know how it goes over.
Yeah.
It's got to be delivered in such a way, and the timing, especially with younger adults like with my daughter, it has to be timed perfectly, and it has to be a lot of times based on her questions.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just can't pull her aside and go, hey, listen to me now. Sit here.
Here's my soapbox.
Take
a seat.
But again, there are some things that are timeless. I always think that the one, I don't think it's on this list, but it's early and often, but it's to pay yourself first. I think that to me is the most important.
Absolutely.
I think that's the muscle. That's the memory muscle you need to work with finance. Once you start that, I notice people never stop it, and they don't miss the money, right? What do you think?
Well, and we have that issue even with clients now. You know, I deal with clients who are still helping out their adult children. And, you know, they're putting their financial plan in peril by, you know, continuing to support adult children. And I have to have that conversation. You know, you need to make sure you're paying yourself first. It's great to want to help your kids. And obviously, as I'm about to be a parent, I'm starting to feel some of these feelings for the first time as well, of having concern for the well-being of my child.
It's not easy, but you have to at least come up with a process when it comes to that, and not jeopardize your own goals.
Exactly. Yeah.
And a lot of parents do.
Yeah, and setting limits as to what help or what types of support you're going to provide, that can be helpful as well. You know, it's one thing to offer to let your kid live rent-free while they're getting their feet underneath them, but if you're subsidizing their rents at the expense of your own retirement and your future ability to pay your own rents, I mean, that's a dangerous position to be in.
It's fine to give to your kids. Mm-hmm. It's fine because you get to see what they do with the money.
Yep. It's
fine to lend to your children, but look at them as their good credit risk or a bad credit risk. And that's tough to do with your own children.
It's very tough to do with your own children. Yeah.
But eventually, especially elderly parents, when they realize that their own, and I have clients who are in this position for years, and I don't want to tell them this. And it's a very delicate dance for a financial advisor to say your child is taking advantage. They think you have more than you have. And they really got to get their own lives together. Yeah. Where I subtly dropped hints over the years, and those parents have absolutely have taken the hint, because now they're getting to the point, because they're in a depletion, right? They as they decumulate, they're not looking to really leave a legacy, and they're at that point where they hit 85, 86, and they go, I might live another 10 years. So I'm sorry. I mean, I don't think I can do this anymore.
Turning off the spigot. Yeah. And sometimes you have to make
it's
that
a
decision.
Self-preservation at that point, right? Because you realize, then what if I don't have the support, my children can't help me.
Correct. Yeah. If your children are relying upon you for support and you get into a situation where you can't support yourself, where do you go?
So there's one thing is living within your means, right? That's the cornerstone. Now, I will tell you, older boomers, I'm on the younger boomer side, right at the end. And there's older boomers. Older boomers are much better than this. Younger boomers might as well be Gen X and millennials, because we are not attached to older boomers. We are attached to the generation, the younger generation.
Yes.
For some reason, we're more associated with that group, at least mentally, than older boomers. They seem like they're part of the silent, what is it? What's it called?
The greatest generation? Isn't that what they
in
call
other words,
themselves?
they're older. They're like old, they're like, the older boomers are really much like that.
Right.
Younger boomers are not as good as living within their means.
Well, and even, a lot of the traditional notions of living within your means, the 50-30-20 rule, right? Yeah. Something we hear a lot about. That's not exactly possible in today's environment. And I think that's part of what causes the disconnect between, the older generations trying to give that sage advice, and then the younger generations that are living in this situation saying, how am I supposed to only spend 50% of my income on necessities when 50% of my income doesn't even cover rent?
Yeah.
So I can see both sides of that because, I'm in the middle, right? I'm an elder millennial, whatever they're calling us now. And so I've seen the younger generations, and even within my cohort of millennials, younger millennials facing significant uphill battles, especially if you live in a major metropolitan area.
It's tough.
It's very tough.
It was tough, though, when I was that younger age. And living in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, rents in the 90s were $2,500.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
Even if you lived out on Long Island, I remember in 1993 or something, my rent was like $900 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, and what are you making, $36,000? I mean, this has always been an issue. What I find a lot of younger people doing now, in especially major metropolitan areas, as I talk to, well, not only my daughter, and they're more willing to do this, and other Gen Zs, they are willing to get a bigger place and share it.
Yeah.
I never was that kind of person.
Well,
I didn't want that. We'll have a communal kitchen. My daughter loves living like that. Like, her friends have all these different bedrooms. And I'm like, she is not like me in this form, because she's more like my ex-wife, who's very much more. I'm like, I like my own space. So she has done it very well, and a lot of the children of the clients that live in these major metropolitan areas are also dealing really well with the roommate issue.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it right there, Rich, with dealing with the situation, because I don't know that, and I guess I can speak for myself here, but I didn't want roommates, when I was younger.
I didn't either.
Right, but I had roommates because that was my only option. My option was either having roommates or living with my parents. And your friends are way cooler than your parents, no matter who those friends are. Yeah,
I am such a loner. I don't, but I understand your point.
Right.
So I think you adapt. But when you think that this is a new problem,
right? Well,
depending on where you live in a major metropolitan area, this has always been an issue with rents.
And it's not, it has. But and I'm not trying to defend Gen Z here, because I do think there's a little bit of unrealistic expectations that they've now developed because of the use of social media. But if you just look at the change in rents, so from 95 to now, right? It's been 30 years, 1995 to now. The average rent, and we'll just talk percentages rather than dollar amounts. The average rent has gone up about 140%.
Crazy.
In that same time period, minimum wage has only gone up 70%.
And wages themselves,
are just not impressive, right? So there is a little bit of truth to what these younger generations are complaining about. But that being said, they're also, I think, using that as an excuse to justify their own lack of ambition, to call it what I think it really is, if you find a way, you're going to find a way. Like, find a way to find a way. And, I did what I had to do to get to where I wanted to be in life. And I think that the younger generation, having social media where you see all of these celebrities who apparently do nothing but have millions of dollars, it's kind of distorted their perceptions of what, their actual capabilities are, and they expect I should be being paid for doing nothing.
Exactly. Or I could be some digital creator, whatever the hell that is.
I'm a content creator.
I'm a content creator.
That is my
what kind of content?
Favorite non-job title.
Isn't that great? What kind of content you actually creating that somebody is actually paying you for?
Right. Yeah.
Right? But if you do crazy things and you get, say, 100,000, 200,000 followers, there is a way to monetize some of that. Not that you can make a living, but you could be spending a lot of your time probably building up something formidable.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially, I think, like, if at that age for me, I'd have been like all excited about, well, all these new things, AI and all that. I was always wanting to learn more about things that are different and changing, because I was always afraid that if you stayed the same way, you were going to die. And I think that's actually a lot of financial advisors.
Yeah.
Why fix it? Not broke.
This is the way I've done it for 40 years.
Advisors, they don't want to look at anything new from a software perspective. You know me, as just us working together, I'm always researching what's coming. Like, I sent even Connie something about how AI is generating leads for RIAs, right? We have to, and I'm investigating crypto. I'm reading this book that's about 500 pages on crypto assets. It's just the future. You got to know. You just can't say, I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
You got to
embrace.
Because you're going to have a younger generation of clients who are going to want crypto and understand where it fits, right? So being adaptable, I think, is one of the things that I always told my daughter was, always try to build your social skills as well as your skills, because she's got a PhD in mathematics, right?
Smart girl.
So, but she's very social. It's very strange. She also likes to talk to people in person, call them.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you can do the best of both. You don't have to be hiding in a room, right? You can do the best. And she actually does that. And actually, she's finding that a lot of people do want to have face-to-face. So Gen Z is finding a lot of the things that we found cool years ago.
Coming back.
I can't get her hooked on the CB radio, though. I've been really trying.
What's your call sign, Rich?
KD5PWO. So I think that living within your means, you have to approach that in a way that they can digest it.
Yes. Yeah, it's not about
What's the practice? I'm not, like you said, it is an issue.
Yeah.
How do we work through that issue? And we're going to talk about this when we get back.
Get daily investment news you can use, delivered at the speed of the internet at realinvestmentadvice.com.
The Social Security Fairness Act dropped elements that reduced Social Security payments, retroactive to last year.
What are you going to do with all that extra income?
Our next Candid Coffee offers savvy Social Security planning if you were dinged by windfall and pension offsets.
Saturday, March 29th.
Richard Rosso and Danny Ratliff answer your questions about Social Security benefits and what the removal of WEP and GPO means for your retirement. Candid Coffee with Ratliff and Rosso. Register today at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Attention Chevron employees and anyone else receiving or considering a company severance package. We know the process can be intimidating. What should you know to maximize your payout? Lump sum or pension annuity, retirement plan rollover or not? What about tax timing your severance? The fiduciary advisors at RIA Advisors can help you make the best decisions for your situation. Call us today at 855-742-7526. That's 855-742-PLAN. Or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
The Real Investment Show.
RIA Advisors Research is the envy of the industry. Our economic insights are featured on advisorperspectives.com, Fox Business, and MarketWatch. RIA provides advisors with marketing and back office support, objective research, and holistic, cutting-edge financial planning tools to meet your clients' needs. Want to join a winning team and be part of a fiduciary culture where you can do your best work? Then why haven't you contacted us yet? Go to our confidential advisor hub at realinvestmentadvice.com. RIA Advisors. Big enough where it matters, agile enough when it counts.
And now, another page from the Real Investment Advisors Investing Manifesto. A passive investment portfolio requires active risk management. It's not a choice, it's necessity. Diversification doesn't protect against risk of loss. Let us actively help you reach your financial goals with RIA Advisors. Neither bull nor bear. RIA Advisors, 281-501-1791 or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
You're listening to The Real Investment Show.
So obviously futures are still down. I just call it pretty much, I think we're going to have a positive week. Depends on how we close. But, it's just more to me of a whipsawing and a malaise.
Yeah.
That makes investing very frustrating.
It does.
But you're really not getting beat up. But Nike is down about 6% in the pre-market. But they're saying, listen, this tariff talk. I like how I'm going to wait to hear and see what guidance looks like and what's pre-announcements look like. I have a feeling a lot of companies are going to have some miserable pre-announcements.
Yeah. Yeah, the next earnings season.
Because of the uncertainty.
Well, I thought it was interesting. Powell came out this week and specifically said, these tariffs are what's causing uncertainty. And it's really the first time that I've heard anyone from the Fed calling out, that one of the causes that they believe of what's going on right now. And, specifically around the tariffs and the uncertainty around what they're going to be. They change week to week.
Yes.
And so that makes it difficult for forecasting.
And that also does have you go back to some of your financial rules. Like, for example, we talk about people having financial vulnerability cushions and more cash, right? There is something to living within your means, as we're talking about how do you work within that. There is something about that when you do get contractions in economies, or at least uncertainty, because we don't really know. I think there are too many people promoting recession and they have no idea what they're talking about, or stagflation, and they don't even know what that is, right? So they're calling it all kinds of stuff, and the media. So if you're reading headlines today, you're sort of like unnerved.
Yeah.
Right. I think part of it is who's in charge, but part of it is is just that they don't like change.
Right.
I mean, Wall Street doesn't like change of any kind. But if you live below your means, or that you're finding ways to do it and you're not financially vulnerable through a rough time, there's an emotional relief to that, isn't there?
Absolutely, yeah. And to steal a line from one of my favorite clients, it's not about what you earn, it's what you spend. And if you can control your spending, you'll have much better peace of mind in times like this.
Well, that's why a lot of these I know Lance doesn't like the FIRE group and all these people like no spend, because it's extreme.
Yeah.
But I think if you took some of those habits, maybe not so extreme, there is something good about them.
Yeah.
Right. And that,
one of the things on that article that we're talking about, is embracing frugality. And that's not saying that you're cheap. It's just that you're more intentional with your spending. And I think
more intentional. That's it. Because remember, if you just say, it's like when people go on diets, right? And they have I'm going on the steamed broccoli and cucumber diet. Okay. And then by day 5, you feel deprived and you blow it out of the water, right?
Yep.
But if I can be intentional, say, hey, listen, I and that goes back to budgeting, and people don't like doing that either, right?
Yeah.
What do you think? I've been budgeting. I still budget the same way since I'm 12 years old. But
well, and how many of our clients, typically maintain a budget before they come to us? Not a lot. Not calling out any of my clients. I love you guys, but not a lot of them maintain a budget.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
There's nothing fun about a budget.
Yep.
And you don't even have to have it be a micro budget. But as long as you know, like, hey, I need to spend this amount on this amount on this. Even today, I always have savings as the number one thing.
Yep, top of the list.
Well, taxes, which I hate paying. But I'm doing it the same way as when I had a paper route in Brooklyn. It's like it has not changed. I mean, we have great software that'll categorize. Mm-hmm. You hook up, like a lot of people, like I do, use my credit card or even a debit, but it'll categorize. And so I say, okay, I want to put $300 a month for dining out.
Yep.
Just say, and then as our system picks it up, it'll say, okay, you're on track for that, or you're going to overspend. So I do have some people that'll use electronic, and that's fine, as long as you're doing some form of knowing, like you said, intentional spending, knowing where your cash is going, right?
Right. Well, and it's tax season, right? So a lot of people are reviewing the prior year, and one of the things that my wife and I find helpful is those end of year summaries from your credit card.
Oh, those helpful, right?
Incredibly helpful. Also, she gets to see where I'm blowing all the money I don't tell her about. So it's a good segue into an argument we were waiting to have.
What's this?
It can be very helpful, to go back and recap. That's one of the most important things about budgeting. And I tell clients this all the time. It's important to have a budget, but it's also important to go and reconcile that budget and make sure that those forecast assumptions that you have are correct and they're realistic. And if they're not, let's make adjustments.
Or at least if you overspent, there could have been a situation. There was an illness in the family.
Right.
Somebody lost a job, right? I helped out a relative, right? But these are not permanent.
Right.
But those year-end statements are very helpful.
I do agree.
They're very helpful. The saving religiously, again, goes back to paying yourself first, because people will sell to me, especially young people will say, oh, what's the big deal if it's $10 or $20? It's not a big deal. I said, well, listen, it's not, okay? I'm not going to disagree. It's the action is what you're doing, because what's $20 today is $100 a year from now, because you keep You know, it's like when you want to run a marathon, you're not going to go out and run 10 miles. Brent tried that. We had to go get him. We called the ambulance. You don't do that. You take a block and you go, right? So when you find out you can save 20, then you go, I think I could save 40. You know, it's a building.
Snowballs.
It's,
And that what's $10, that's the same argument that I used to make when I would go to Starbucks. And then, I looked at how much I'm actually spending at Starbucks in a month. And that adds up
and
very,
what are you
very
getting
quickly.
for it? Because then you think about the stuff you buy is also going to increase your retirement healthcare expense.
Yep.
With the, 1 billion grams of sugar?
Basically. Yeah.
I mean, it is one of some of the, and then you look at the calorie count on some of that stuff.
And let's be honest, they never get the drink right. At this point, I think they do it on purpose just to make me get out of my car and come back inside.
Well, they don't put the lid on right.
Yeah.
Listen, I think Dutch Brothers is great. Dutch Brothers has been one of those story stocks that nobody talks about, but the stock is up amazingly, okay? Because my thought was Dutch Brothers was going to compete with Starbucks. They are only in the suburbs. They have their drive-thru down, almost like a Chick-fil-A. They have really good drinks for less cost. And I thought that would be a good alternative. And in the beginning, it was sort of shaky because they were on an aggressive growth plan. But now go ahead and look at the performance of that stock.
Yeah, they just opened one by my parents' house.
And they only will not open in like downtown or anything like that. They're only in suburbs. And they come up with all these creative drinks. But then, and Amy my girlfriend likes to go through that. And I'm like Christmas, it's like the peppermint jingle, jangle, jingle, 1,800,000 calories. Oh, yeah, but it's Christmas. So I mean, and it's like 25% less in price.
Yeah.
Right. And people are very friendly. It's so my thought was that would eventually probably catch on as an alternative because we didn't have a lot of, I understand McDonald's makes coffee, but we didn't have that kind of an alternative. Dutch Brothers was turning into that.
Yeah.
So, but if I enjoy my Dutch Brothers coffee or my Dunkin' Donuts coffee, I just have to know, how many times a week am I doing that?
Yeah.
And I think when you live in a major metropolitan area, the one thing you do is you don't make coffee. Like when I was living in New York City, I'm walking to Park Avenue, I'm picking up a blueberry muffin, and I'm picking up a coffee
from your regular spot that you go to almost every day.
But I'm not going to a fancy spot. I'm going like a little deli with a guy in the cart, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you move the cockroach aside and you go, oh, look, it's not a cockroach, it's a blueberry. The big blueberry muffins. But then you realize you're doing this every day. But there's some things that people will not give up. Listen, I got to deal with all these people every day. So I understand in the metropolitan area, plus costs are higher.
Yes.
But as long as you said, I love that. You're intentionally understanding you're doing that. So maybe you have to give up going out one night of the week because you enjoy having that coffee and that muffin in the morning.
Right.
I mean, nobody wants to deprive you. Once it feels like you're being deprived, it's over.
Yes.
It's over.
Yeah.
So this is a tough one. Prioritizing retirement savings. I think this is very tough for someone who's 20 years old or 25 years old or 20. It's like, I got so many other goals before this darn retirement thing.
Retirement? What's that?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of mistake is there are people that are younger that will oversave and then they're stuck. Oh, I got to buy a house. Oh, I got to tap my
401k.
Not going to do that, right?
Yeah.
And we're always big on what? Roth,
That's
right?
right.
Young people, you do Roth 401k. Yeah, but I got no Roth.
Just do it.
How about that? No. It's Roth.
Mm-hmm.
So avoiding debt, this is a big one.
Huge. Yeah. I mean, what was it? Einstein said, the worst invention in humanity was compound interest.
Oh, I thought it was Larry Smith.
Yeah. Close second. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. Debt can compound, and that's one of the biggest categories that we focus on in tackling in an efficient manner. There's good debt and there's bad debt, and you have to make sure you're avoiding that bad debt and use the tools that are available to try and rein that in. Well,
because debt could be your friend or your biggest enemy, right? Like think about when we were in this area of low interest rates, how smart borrowers were making that work for them, right?
Yeah.
Especially with mortgages. And there are ways to leverage debt that's intelligent. Credit card debt's not intelligent unless you're putting it on the card like a lot of people do and for the points.
And paying it off.
And cash back and paying it off in full.
Yes. Well, now that's the new trend among the younger generations is that buy now, pay later option. no matter what website you're on, if you go to buy something,
Do you see they're doing that with DoorDash?
Everywhere. Everywhere.
Listen, my lunch is buy. If your lunch is buy now, pay later, you have got a problem. You need to come and see us right away.
You eating at Nobu? What's going on here? Yeah.
I could pay for my McDonald's quarter pounder
over 4 months.
4 months, no interest. That is, I'm telling you, that's beyond insane. That's crazy. Thanks for getting me all riled up, Jonathan McCarty. All right, sign up for Savvy Social Security. Sign up for Lance's newsletter. He's begrudgingly doing that now. He's like Cratchit in the corner. I gotta write this down. But it's wonderful stuff. Saturday morning, it gets to you. Realinvestmentadvice.com. Lance back on Monday. We appreciate it. Hope you have a great weekend, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, guys.